In this episode, we look at 3 apps I'm using right now to help me stay focused. Get excited because this is Tiny Leaps. Big change. Big change. Welcome to another episode of Tiny Leaps, Big Changes, where I share simple strategies you can use to get more out of your life. My name is Greg Clunis, and in this episode, we're looking at 3 of my favorite productivity and focus tools right now, software programs, apps, things that I think will, over time, if used over time, will significantly improve your focus. And we've done lists like this in the past. I'm doing the best I can not to revisit things that I've already mentioned, so you won't hear anything about Pomodoro timers or Evernote or anything like that, because again, I've included those in previous lists, so I recommend you listen to those episodes. In this episode, I'm going to try and share 3 new things that I'm using that so far are helping in my day-to-day focus dramatically. So this should be a super good one. Make sure you listen all the way through to the end, or if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you watch all the way through to the end. And listen, do me a favor, drop a comment down below with your favorite focus tool. I'd love to try it out and maybe share it in a future episode. All right, now before we jump into it, let's talk about today's sponsor. How would you feel if you could save more than you ever have before without lifting a finger? Well, Empower helps you do just that. For starters, Empower has an automated savings feature. I simply tell the app my weekly savings target, and every day, Empower studies my income and spending and automatically knows when to move the right amount of money into my savings account, where it grows with unlimited withdrawals and no minimums. It's called Autosave. The app even holds me accountable for all my spending with easy budgeting tools and real-time alerts to tell me when I need to rein it in. Empower also adds a nice human touch. Just text Empower's human coaches who are on standby to share personalized recommendations and steer you through whatever financial question comes up for you. So if you want to save more than ever before, you've got to check out the Empower app. And for listeners of Tiny Leaps Big Changes, you can get $5 for free when you use the offer code TINYLEAPS and you reach your savings goal. Visit empower.me/tinyleaps for more details. That's empower, empower.me/tinyleaps for more details. All right, so the first tool I want to talk about today is called Focus at Will. It's focus with a little @ sign and then will, WILL. Now, what is this? If you've ever heard of binaural beats, right? So binaural beats are this basically like computer generated music that supposedly, and I say supposedly because I haven't read the research on it, but I found it works for me. Supposedly, the tones and sounds they use in the music operate at some frequency that helps the brain to stay focused, and it's a little, so they do, like, it comes in like waves, right? Like it gets louder and softer, and it does just enough to keep your brain activated without allowing you to sort of fall into the music and get distracted, but also not enough that you focus on the music. So it's sort of right in that middle ground. It's sort of the Goldilocks theory of focus. So I've been using binaural beats now for 5 years, 6 years. I don't know. I started using it in college, so maybe even earlier than that, maybe 7 or 8 years now. But it's the kind of thing that, for the right task, can help you get through it very, very quickly. One of my favorite combinations is to have binaural beats on with a Pomodoro timer and with a to-do list in front of me. Utilizing that can sometimes get you through those really annoying, frustrating tasks that you really don't want to do but need to be done regardless. I found that combination can work well. And what Focus at Will does is it generates those binaural beats. It creates the music, essentially. From what I understand, it's all written by computers. It's all computer generated, but you can subscribe to their service and you can play different binaural beats based on sort of the feel that you're going for. I think they have different themes, things like nature sounds or electronic music or whatever it is that you might be into. Personally, I do electronic music. But they do a very good job with their interface and with their software and program to creating something that feels accessible, feels like you're listening to something that is actually helping you move forward and accomplishes the goal of helping you to focus. So again, I've been using binaural beats as a whole for 7 or 8 years now, maybe. And I've been listening to Focus at Will specifically on and off for the last 3 years. So I recommend trying it. If you're having trouble staying focused, if you're having trouble getting through the distractions in your day-to-day, whether you're working at home or at your regular job, if you're in a position to, I recommend trying out Focus at Will and utilizing binaural beats to help you push through that struggle. Now, number 2, the second app I recommend, I have actually recommended in the past, but I'm going to do it again because I'm super big on meditation right now, is Headspace. Now, Headspace is not the app that's going to help you focus while you are doing the task. What Headspace does is it helps you meditate, right? It's a guided meditation. It teaches you how to meditate, how to think about your meditation, and what your goals and results should look like in your meditation. The reason I recommend it for helping you focus is because of the effects that meditation can have on your ability to focus. One of the things that comes from that struggle of trying to hold on to the breath and focus on the breath, even while all of the distractions of your thoughts pop up. One of the really positive benefits of going through that warfare with yourself is that you learn how to tune out and how to not grasp onto the distractions. And that is something that is an invaluable skill in our day-to-day lives, especially when we're in a scenario where we are having trouble focusing, because there will always be distractions. No amount of music or do not disturb signs or working in a quiet environment, no amount of that is going to stop distractions from getting through. They will come in some form. We don't know what form, but they will be there and they will try to steal your attention away. Your job at the end of the day is not to let that happen. And meditation, especially daily meditation, even just for 2 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever you can spare, can help you build that muscle, because that is what it's about. It's about not letting the distractions of your day-to-day thoughts, not letting the distractions of your random monkey mind thoughts pull you away from the focus, which during your meditation is your breath, is your breathing, and during your work is, of course, your work. So there's a lot of parallels between your meditation practice and your ability to focus and get more done. And I recommend Headspace as the tool to help you actually accomplish that and get better at meditating. And then the last app that I want to recommend is one that, in full disclosure, I've not tested myself. I've done similar things, but I have not done it through this particular platform. It's called Focus Mate. Now, Focus Mate is a fairly small company. They're definitely not on the size of like a Headspace, probably not even on the size of a Focus at Will, but they do something really interesting. What you can do is sign up for their website. You get 3 free sessions per month, and it allows you to set a goal, set a time block of 50 minutes, and connect with a random person who also has a goal and also has a time block of 50 minutes to hold each other accountable. Now, you're not talking to each other necessarily. You're not like sitting there like having a conversation. The goal is for these 50 minutes, you're going to make sure I'm doing what I said I'm going to do, and I'm going to make sure you're doing what you said you were going to do. And that is a brilliant approach to it. Now, it isn't going to work for every task. Obviously, if your goal is to clean the house, that's not really going to work on a Skype session. But for certain work-related tasks that require you to be at the computer for an extended period of time, at least 50 minutes, it can be a good way to keep yourself accountable and actually get that work done if you are struggling to do it yourself, if you're struggling to just get into that zone and make it happen. So I've used a similar approach, just sort of DIYing it with Skype calls and Zoom calls and so on and so forth. I have people in my network that are willing to hold me accountable, that are willing to have me hold them accountable. And if you have those, then I recommend going that route. It doesn't have to be through this app. It doesn't have to be through this software. But having those calls where the entire goal is just to be there and hold each other accountable is incredibly valuable when you're struggling to stay focused. So just to recap really quickly, the 3 apps, tools, ideas that I recommend for helping you to get more focused and get more done each day is number 1, Focus at Will, which is just a binaural beats generating software that helps you to sort of stay focused, stay in that middle ground, that Goldilocks zone of music that doesn't distract you, doesn't pull you away from what you need to do, but does keep your brain from sort of falling asleep on the things that you need to do. Number 2 is Headspace. That is more of a day-to-day practice, something that you need to essentially just keep doing over and over again, and over time you'll get better at focus through meditation. And number 3 is FocusMate, or some similar setup with a connection of your own via Skype or Zoom. So with all of that said, I want to remind you, if you're watching on YouTube, drop a comment down below with your favorite tool to help you focus. I'd love to try it out. I'd love to maybe include it in a future list like this. And if you haven't already, be sure to click subscribe. Be sure to click the like button next to the video. If you're listening on the podcast, join us over on YouTube at youtube.com/Greg Clunis. I'd love to have you there as well. And remember that all big changes come from the tiny leaps you take every day.